how fast things change in WWE. There was a plan to continue that storyline, and
What up, everyone? Shakiel Mahjouri here for CBS Sports, and you know who this is. He is many things in the worlds of sports entertainment and pro wrestling: a demon, a prince, a leader, a world champion, but most importantly, at least in my estimation, a Lego enthusiast. Finn Balor, how's it going, my man?
Hey, nice to talk to you, Brian. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for doing this. Not that being in the ring is my forte, but if I may suggest, if you really want to elicit that I quit out of Edge at Extreme Rules in the Wells Fargo Center, Philadelphia, October 8th, coup de grace on a pile of Lego, I think that man will be screaming.
That might be an option. There's a pile sitting just off camera of one of the Formula One race cars that I've started to build in the last couple of days. So if that's not complete by Saturday, perhaps a couple of those pieces go to good use in the Extreme Rules I Quit match.
I absolutely love it. I'm going to be disappointed now, if anything, if I don't see it. Now, before we talk about Extreme Rules, the Judgment Day, all the amazing things that are going on in WWE, I would like to start here. I'm going to show you a little video. I just kind of want your real-time reaction. If I'm not mistaken, I think this is circa 2002. It's a very early Becky Lynch and a very early Finn Balor. So I'll just put this up to my screen. I just want to get your thoughts. What are your memories when you see this?
Wow. Yeah, Becky was someone who we trained together, and someone who, like, from day one, like, I knew was going to be a superstar, and I don't think she even realized the potential that she had. But she would come to training every single week. She was most weeks the only female there of about 20 or 30 guys that were all just ready to lay it in on her, and she hung with the boys every single week, and to see her success over the last couple of years is mind blowing to me, and it's so heartwarming because having seen how hard she's worked for so many years, she really deserves everything that's coming to her right now.
How early in her development was that video? Because she looked really smooth.
Yeah, that was probably about 3 years in, I would say. Yeah.
Look at that, how far back we go. I think, at least on my end, I've noticed a genuine sort of enthusiasm ever since Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, Nick Khan sort of took up their new roles. Just sort of, a fresh approach, something that we haven't been really doing as of late. For you, what is sort of the thing you're most excited about as it pertains to the way that Triple H is leading creative? Because obviously you two work very closely together in NXT.
Yeah, we've obviously worked very closely together for a long time, and both runs in NXT. And for me, the most exciting thing is it feels more like a collaboration, working with this new leadership. Certainly the availability to exchange ideas and compromise and like come to an agreement on something, or just get a face-to-face explanation of what the direction is. Those the way things were set up before, there was many layers of management, and sometimes it was very hard to get a straight answer, or at least a straight answer in a short time, which is needed for live television. And but I feel like now maybe the channels of communication are a lot more direct for everyone, and I feel like that has certainly helped people stress less about the direction, and focus more on executing the ideas, as opposed to maybe the ping pong back and forth that was between all the different layers of management, and creative writers and writers assistants, and writers assistants before you got an answer. So Triple H is very, very hands-on in that respect, and very easily accessible. He's ringside before every show, so any kind of queries that you have can be dealt with very, very quickly, and like ironed out pretty smoothly.
You'll be representing the Judgment Day, of course, at Extreme Rules against Edge, the subsequent season premiere of Raw at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. There was a time where you were very much on opposite ends of the spectrum here. Edge was leading Judgment Day. You were on the outside looking in. How far along in that storyline were you made aware that you'd sort of be flipping sides?
The day before, and that was advance notice at that time. That was like I was really smartened up, and I was clued in, and I was in the know. And don't tell anyone this is happening tomorrow. So, in WWE, you always have to be ready to adapt. A lot of things change at very short notice, and even when I was told that news about what was going to happen tomorrow, I wasn't fully convinced until I got.
I was about to ask. Yeah.
So you just kind of take it and go, okay, if that happens, that'll be interesting. We'll see tomorrow if it actually happens. I feel like now things have been a little bit more stable in the last couple of weeks and last couple of months, and perhaps the storyline arcs are evolving as predicted. And a lot of things change, and people get hurt, and people come back from injuries, and there's obviously there's obviously those elements that we can't predict. But I feel like right now things have been moving pretty smoothly.
Well, I like to fanboy about this as much as I possibly can. I think one of the things WWE is doing better than anyone right now is the story continuity. I feel like a lot of times in this industry, it's as if people aren't in the same workplace. And I really love how over the last few months, like you'll see something going in the background. Dexter Lumis is hiding there doing something creepy as Becky's walking by, or Kevin will walk in from one room to another and there's Sami Zayn. It is a universe, and I feel like at times, often in this sport, there's a trope where like no one can interact with anyone else. So it's been really fun sort of seeing all the crossover between superstars.
Yeah, and I also feel like maybe in the past we've been guilty of like overproducing things, and doesn't feel as natural. And I feel like definitely, for me, if I look back and watch like an old WCW episode, and there's like a backstage scene or promo or a beat down, you'll see people walking, like leaving the building that have already finished their match, entering the building and haven't performed yet. And that was like natural. And I feel like that element needs to like really be emphasized in wrestling, that this is like live TV. It shouldn't really be as produced, as perhaps it was in the past. I feel like maybe the rougher and edgier it is, maybe the more authentic it can be.
I mean, WWE at the sort of forefront of pushing the technological limits, but I totally agree. I think there's a fine line. I think we're starting to see it more and more. There's a new member of the Judgment Day, Dominick Mysterio, and what a tough position it must be for any young guy getting their start in a major organization. Obviously, there's a name attached there to live up to. I have all the respect in the world for Dominick for sort of getting the ball, doing his best to run with it, and really learning on the job. And I find a lot of times fans aren't patient enough with allowing young superstars to develop. For you, what's your sort of goal in having Dominick Mysterio in, around company like you, Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley? What would you like to sort of afford to him or give him during this run with you guys?
For me, I just want to make Dominick feel more comfortable. I feel like he's a young guy in a cutthroat industry that probably has a lot of people jealous of him, given the fact that his opportunity was, maybe rushed due to the fact of who his father was. And he has, adapted and overcame and, fitted into that role, in the tag team with his father. And then just as he's getting comfortable in that role, he then has to completely change direction and adapt and fit into a new role. So really, if I can just make him feel in any way more comfortable with himself in the ring, that's my objective. I feel like he's far exceeded anyone's expectations already. not only as a babyface but as a heel. He's really touched the heartstrings of people, and they really seem to dislike him right now, which is the hardest thing to achieve. You know, being a heel character. So, you know, he's got a huge future ahead of him. He's an incredible amount of potential. Obviously, his family lineage speaks for itself, and I've no doubt that, you know, in the future he will step out and exceed his father's shadow.
Well, he is in good company. We are 1 year removed from Extreme Rules, Roman Reigns versus the Demon Finn Balor. Man, that match was so good. I'm not just saying that because you're there. I'm saying that because going into it, I think there was an expectation that, you know, what was to come was going to be Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. And oftentimes a match like that, like yours, can feel like filler. But I think by the end, people were convinced that, like, this might happen. You know, Finn might walk away here. Obviously, the aftermath and the ending of that match didn't gel well with a lot of fans' expectations. What are your memories of, and what's your kind of reaction to the whole rope break and the aftermath of that match with Roman Reigns?
It was definitely a water cooler moment with regards like what people were talking about, you know, for the next couple of days, and you know, we're still talking about it a year later. I feel like the finish kind of left the story open-ended a little bit. I feel like we definitely need to readdress that and revisit, you know, that you know, what happened that night. And you know, going back to how fast things change in WWE, you know, there was a plan to, you know, continue that storyline, and you know, obviously things changed, and with Brock's return, you know, that was the focus, and you know, you have to, as a performer, you have to understand that, you know, we're all, you know, cogs in a wheel. But I believe that, you know, there's definitely a lot of mileage left in the Finn Balor / Demon / Roman Reigns storyline that needs to be addressed.
Well, and you know, I feel like maybe now, moving forward, there's an opportunity to revisit that, and I hope we get the conclusion, because I'd be very interested in seeing where that storyline was going. As we begin to wrap up here, I want to show you another video.
Yeah.
And sort of get your real-time reaction. There's no, when I reach out online, I'm like, hey, anyone have questions for Finn Balor? Like, there's no shortage of amazing stuff that comes on. Like, people have been following your career for a very long time. So I'm just gonna hit play, and I would just sort of like your real-time reaction to whatever I have going on here. Okay.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah. So this is in Japan, and right before I had moved to WWE, this was kind of like my farewell tour of Japan. And what we would do is we would get taken out by these sponsors, and for them it was almost like a badge of honor to get chopped by the wrestlers and like feel the pain that, you know, inflicted by a wrestler. So although this may look like torture, this is actually something that they super enjoy and go and tell.
What's going on with the nipple pinching though?
But trust me, they are those jobs are laid in.
This is cruel, by the way. The way you keep pulling on these ones.
Yeah, I think the fake outs are worse than the actual chops. You know, the build up of anticipation of feeling it, and you can see the guys here in the back here just like laughing their heads off. They're having a great time.
Is this Gorilla?
This is yeah, this is Gorilla. Now that was Boss as well, pushed him in to take the chop.
Amazing stuff. You know, I've seen Chris Van Vliet take 10 chops, and I'm glad he did it on behalf of all interviewers, so that I don't have to. But as we wrap up here, I would like to know first, what's the biggest Lego piece you've ever built?
Probably when I was a kid, I would have built like all the huge like cityscapes and just castles and stuff like that. Recently, probably the Star Destroyer, which I didn't really enjoy because it was all gray pieces, and it's like it's hard to like focus on them.
And you do these all freehand, right? No instruction manual, or?
I'll kind of have the instructions open beside me, but I'm not like following all the steps. You know, I get a little cocky. And for example, 2 weeks ago, I was building the Seinfeld set, And I got super cocky, and I was just like, yeah, freestyle. And then like I've got this one piece that I can't find. I'm like, where is this goddamn piece, you know? And then finally, like I'm looking at the set, and I like built it into the wall, like, you know, 10 steps back. So I had to deassemble everything and rebuild from scratch.
That's amazing. Well, it's about the journey, not the destination.
Exactly.
Right? So do you have these all like displayed somewhere?
No, I build them, I'll display them for like a week on the kitchen table, and then I'd be like, all right, time to put them away.
I'd like to see how well you could fill out a room with like all the Lego pieces you built over the years. I probably shouldn't give away a free sponsorship here, but contrary to popular belief, Finn Balor does eat carbs. In fact, you told Ryan Satin recently about your cheat meal, and I feel like you and I kind of have to have a heart-to-heart here. I have my McCafe right here. I'm just as guilty as you are. Why do we keep going to McDonald's, though? Because let's be honest, the fries are cold half the time. The cheeseburgers are dry, but I just cannot stop myself.
I know. And afterwards, I feel like crap too.
Yes.
But I feel like it's just, you know, sometimes you need to feel like crap to kind of focus and reset yourself to you know, make sure you work hard all that week.
Love it. Okay, well, I'm halfway there. We got to get the working hard part in.
Yeah.
We definitely.
I really feel like it's the ice cream that gets me there. It's not like I'm just getting the fries and the burgers, you know, because I'm ordering the ice creams anyway.
Yeah. So double cheeseburger, McFlurry, Sunday, large fries, large Coke every Tuesday, correct?
And a McFlurry.
Oh, going hard, Finn. Hey, I mean, clearly it's not hurting the physique, so we're doing okay. Finn, you've been so gracious with your time. I want to leave you with the last word, so I'll do my part very, very quickly. Guys, thank you so much for checking out the video. If you're still here, you know what you need to do. Coup de grace right onto that thumbs up button. Subscribe, notification bell. Let us know in the comments. How's Extreme Rules going to end? Finn Balor, Edge, I Quit match in Philadelphia on October 8th. The season premiere of Monday Night Raw at the Barclays Center the subsequent Monday. Finn Balor, if there's anything you want to let the people know, please let them know.
Extreme Rules will end very simply with the words "I quit" coming out of Edge's beaten mouth.